getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either
and not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed.
Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil tab up the inside for the race leaders. We head down to the first corner.
Have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead, 54, 48 through 3 and 4, working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go right off the track in the final quarter, that'll lap 4 to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo into the Carrasco spin Fuller through turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Taratessa hits him as well, and big damage on these cars. That's a huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, even trying to make a run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in the front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide for this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw. It's round number 3 of the 2021A Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series, the 3rd round of a 15-round season at Rockingham Speedway. Last week it was Auto Club, the 2-mile oval after the season opener at Daytona, and so far our points leaders are the 2 drivers that came out on top at the end of the 2020B season. So similar faces up at the front, but a new face last week. Brendan Queen was the driver that took home the win at Auto Club Speedway. Can he repeat and win 2 of the first 3 in the first 2 of his season? Or will he struggle up against drivers that have been up front all season long like Michael Stroll and Shane Terrian? My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn for tonight's Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series race from The Rock. Connor, welcome back. Always excited to come here. This is a high-banked 1-mile racetrack and ripe for action here tonight.
So it's a thrilling track to always go to, whether it's the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, whichever car you bring to this track, it's always a blast. It's usually green flag racing. I expect to see a lot of that tonight. I think the last race we broadcasted here was the ORO race, and that was an absolutely great race, great finish for that, and I expect to see a lot of good action, side-by-side racing. Maybe the bumpers get used tonight. We'll have to wait and see, but this is definitely an action-packed track.
In Richmond County, North Carolina for tonight. Again, my name's Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn, joining you here for the 3rd round of the season. And Rockingham Speedway in Richmond County, North Carolina, population 22,000 people around here. That is shy of the first ever attendance here in 1965. It was the 54th of 55 races in the NASCAR season back in 1965. Oh, how things have changed. But qualifying now, open qualifying on the racetrack here, Connor. 5 minutes in, 5 minutes to go to set our grid for tonight's race.
You already have a lot of people who set really good times. You got Cameron Hearn on the pole right now with 23.349. Really fast time to put down. He's going out for another run because he's not that far ahead of 2nd place Dallin Elwood, who's only a few thousandths of a second behind. You got a few more drivers who haven't put down times, like Riley Thompson or David Mott Jr., Finney DeCuna. A lot of drivers still trying to put down a big flyer.
When mentioning Finney DeCuna, he has not yet made a qualifying effort. He's currently 6th in the point standings. A great start to the season for that driver. We've got over 30 drivers here tonight. The one I'm keeping my eye on is last year's champion, Shane Terrian, has had a rock-solid start to the year, currently leading the points over Michael Stroll, who's up in 4th right now, but Terrian in that Toyota could terrorize everyone here at The Rock here this evening. Braxton DeWeese right now qualifying very well in that Zimmerman Concrete Company Chevrolet Camaro. Justin Morton in that TDR number 11 is back this week. And you mentioned Elwood and Hearn, the 2 Toyota Supras at the top of the standings right now, Connor. Maybe the biggest threat to keep watching is that 15 car of Hearn, up 18 spots after last week's race in Fontana. So he's getting right back into the mix up at the front of this field.
And he's trying to put some emphasis on the run he had last week. He went to the top of the board with a 23.296. That is way faster than anyone else in his session so far. He was really fast in practice as well. He had good long run speed. So I expect him to really be fighting for the rest of this race. It's really going to take something drastic to take him out of contention. He's looking sharp so far.
And we're taking a look at Rockingham Speedway here. This 1 mile racetrack is just a little bit over 1 mile. It's actually 1.017. That means that our 148 lap race night will be just about 150 miles this evening. So it'll take us about an hour. And last time we ran this track was back about a year ago. And the winner of that race was actually you, Connor. And it was not a close one. 11 seconds back to Mitch Welker. Back on, looking back to find the date, it was a long time ago. Back in the 2020 A season of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. It was you, Welker, Eric Mickey, Colin Fambro, Robert Hall. A handful of those drivers are not back here tonight. There were 30 drivers back in that race and only 2 cautions, so I expect a lot of green flag running. I also expect to see a lot of separation between the field here tonight, Connor. We see this with the Cup car and the Xfinity car, where there seems to be a lot of skill gap at this particular racetrack. Not sure why that is, but I expect to see it more tonight.
It's just one of the toughest tracks you'll ever drive. It doesn't look like it just from viewing the track over top, but these high banks will really come out and bite you. That exit to turn 2 is very narrow. It looks wide, but if you take the wrong bump, you're right into that outside wall, and you might be flipping over just like Carl Long did back in 2004. You've got to be so precise. The bottom line, turns 3 and 4, there's a bump down there. If you hit that wrong, if you miss the bottom, you're going to slam that wall out of turn number 4, and you have to save the tires. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Tire saving is going to become crucial, but there is so much that goes into winning a race here, and it is one of the toughest tracks on any schedule.
I'm looking back at the 2020B Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series and the standings. Thomas Bressi was 3rd at the tail end of last season. Well, so far this season, he is not having such a great run. Finished 24th at Daytona and 33rd at Auto Club. He is certainly looking for some better luck this week, and you're going to have to make it yourself, I think. With this deep of a field, he's currently 6th in qualifying, Connor, but I think you're going to have to also get the strategy right when you pit, and how much you conserve those tires will be a big deal, and we'll see if Bressi can manage that 4th place he jumps up to in qualifying. Chad Simpson in the 42, back in 17th. Not as good of an effort as he would like. He's going to go back out and try again.
There's a bunch of people still trying to go out again. Simpson, one of them, like you said, down there in 17th. Danny Ware down in 23rd with another Elwood design paid scheme. Another nice, clean-looking super there. Boston Stafford 18th. A lot of these guys trying to get last-ditch efforts out there with just 2 minutes to go, and you're going to have to really hustle to get another run or 2 in here.
Now, these laps go by pretty quick. 23 seconds. 23.296 is the quickest we have on record so far. Justin Morton in 2nd, Alan Elwood, Bressi, Stroll, the rest of your top 5. Nick Massey has joined us again this season, and that number 20 jumps over to the Supra platform from the Chevrolet Camaro. He's going to go back out for one more run. Matthew Rodriguez joins us once more in the 57 car, and Brendan Queen, this is the driver that came out at Auto Club last week, first race in the series and won, so maybe we should have our eyes and head on a swivel to watch the 03 car drive through the field, only 11th right now.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see, but it's a tough track to pass. Another topic I assume we'll get to, but you know, one of these tracks that you really have to work to make any pass work, and starting 11th it doesn't seem like that bad, and it really isn't that bad, but it's going to take a lot of work to get up to the front of the pack in a short amount of time. So he's going to try to get another run out there. Going to have 1 minute to go. We'll see if he can do it.
He's going to pull out onto the racetrack here and throttle up. 45 seconds left, should be just enough for 1 lap. He'll pull up onto the racetrack now and clear track behind him and a little bit of track in front of him to play with. That's Chad Simpson just up the road. We'll ride on board here as we come out of turn 4 to start a lap. Oh, car on the start-finish line there. Not doing very well.
You might see a lot of that tonight. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think turn 2 is really the calamity corner, I think, this evening. Queen off into turn 3 now, following, I believe that is... I'm trying to see what car that is in front of him. Could be the 57.
Slaughter.
Oh, it is Slaughter. Thank you. And the car is he in the 81 car across the line for Queen. A 23.332. That is an improvement. He jumps to 3rd. So again, I tell you to watch this new guy. There he goes.
And not enough for the pole. We'll definitely be happy to get that track position out of the way. And that 15 of Cameron Hearn, he held on to get that pole. The only driver to put down a 23.2, I believe, in practice or qualifying. He is, like we already said, looking really sharp for the start of this one.
Is unless Alan Elwood can beat him, as Elwood goes into turn 3 just now, finishing up his qualifying effort. no one else on the racetrack will have the opportunity, and Elwood will pull off as well. So Cameron Hearn, Justin Morton will share the front row for our third race of the 2021 Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. You're watching the Carolina 150 on Sim TV. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Charlotte Roval, our first road course race of the season. We'll have an off week next week before we get into things. All right, let's head down to the racetrack here, Connor. Let's roll through our starting grid on the front row tonight. It's going to be, well, it was going to be the 15 of Cameron Hearn on the front row, and don't know why I don't have my grid, but maybe we'll see it. There it is. Second row, Brennan Queen and Alan Elwood. The outside of that second row, then Thomas Bressie, Michael Stroll, row number 3.
Braxton Luis and Shane Tarian. Tarian 8th, former champion. Nick Massey, Brian Chambliss rounding out the top 10. I think right out there, Will Roberts and Matthew Rodriguez, 2 really fast drivers, 2 similar times on there in row 6.
And moving back to row number 7 after Rodriguez in that number 57. Row 7, 13th and 14th place tonight is going to be Brad Slaughter in that 81. Tyler Hensley in the number 44 brings up 14th. Row number 8, 15th place will be Tom Bourne in the 84 and Hayden Pistorius in the number 9.
Then row number 9, Danny Ware and Bronson Stafford. Stafford, a really solid driver. Chad Simpson and Boomer Logan. Simpson obviously won that Daytona race, 20B season, I believe. And then you got the 11th row, Casey Shue and Sam Crow, followed by the next row, Robert F. Kenny and the always fast Riley Thompson.
Scrolling order will continue at the bottom of the screen, getting down the last few rows. 25th and 26th is back in row number 13. That's Jonathan Gervin in the 33 and Casey Lakatos in the number 50. Teammates to Finney and DeCuna in 6th in points. And Joseph Tebben in the 60 car starts 27th. Davey Hendricks in the 54. Connor, bring us up our last couple rows.
The last 2 rows here, Finney and DeCuna, who didn't put down a time. Same for John Van Varellis. They are going to round out the top 30 in the last 2 in the field. Joshua Personette and David Lamont Jr. rounding out all 32 starting this one today.
Field rolls off and heads down for the pace lap. We'll only get one before we turn them loose. Up at the front of the field, though, it's that 15 car of Cameron Hearn. Up 18 spots at Fontana last week. He is going to be one to beat. And maybe that car behind him is the one he should be watching. That's that 03 car. Again, the winner from Fontana. His first race of the season was a victory. That's pretty good record so far. We'll see if he can get it done. Keys to the race, Connor. Conserving tires is going to be a big one. Long fuel runs potentially, and traffic. There's going to be a lot of cars out there. There's only 1 mile racetrack. Could get pretty busy, and maybe multi-groove will be a factor here tonight. We've seen the outside lane be not a terrible place to pass here either.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if we do get a green flag run, how the lap traffic reacts, because it was really difficult to get through when I won the race here, but we were able to persevere. It's all about patience when lapping a bunch of these guys, and we'll see if these leaders are able to practice their patience.
All right, 148 laps, 150 miles here at the Rock. Green flag flies, and we're racing in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Green is in the air for round number 3. Oh, car up the racetrack high at the middle of turns 1 and 2. Everyone being very cautious on the early moments of this race. Don't put it in the fence. Be hard to recover from. Too wide down the backstretch. But out front, Cameron Hearn leads us out of turn 4.
Brendan Queen was able to get that second spot, but Hearn is going to lead that first lap as everyone's trying to single file out and get to that yellow line immediately. It seems around the top 10 or so already single file. Brian Chambliss 11th, Tyler Hensley 12th, and then he gets some side-by-side action. Got Tom Bourne and Hayden Pistorius back there trying to sort it out.
Look at the back of the 25 car at Chambliss. He's got someone in the back of him, and it might be, could it be Tyler Hensley or is it Rodriguez? Somebody has been into the back of that 25 car pretty significantly, and I don't see them behind him. Whoa, they're behind a big slide there by Tyler Hensley. He gathers it back up and tucks in behind the 57.
He's got some right front damage. You don't want to damage that right front so early. That's really going to hurt the handling on that car. And hurting the handling. Brett Slaughter Jr. nothing in that top lane yet. He's falling back, and no one's giving him any sort of room.
Tom Bourne in the 84 right ahead of Bronson Stafford in the 61, who just gets by Brad Slaughter Jr. for 15th place. Riley Thompson in the 56. Surprised at his starting position tonight, 24th. He's gained 2 spots already. There's Tebben in the 60. He's up 3 to the inside now, the 7 to Sam Crow.
You're seeing how difficult already, how difficult it is to make a pass. Rick, you just really have to work over the rear bumper of the driver sometimes, as Chad Simpson sort of just did there with Danny Ware, and that's only for the 18th position. Imagine how hard these drivers are going to be racing each other just to get like a top 5 or a top 10 even.
Now, we've seen these races in the past become very biased towards the drivers at the front of the field, where you'll see the entire pack a lap down, sans 3 or 4 drivers, I expect to see some of that similar today. Already a 1 second lead for Cameron Hearn. Here's a pass for position. That was, I believe, Hayden Pistorius going by Brad Slaughter Jr. And here comes Chad Simpson bringing up the rear in that 42 car.
Pistorius and Simpson, two drivers who were really solid last season, but the quality of drivers has picked up, and they gotta kind of find a way to get back into that top tier of drivers. Not great qualifying efforts for either of them. They're just trying to find their way back up to the front before the leaders get away.
Casey Shue working his way by Slaughter as well. The 81 is not going the right direction. Started this race up in 13th place. He's dropped 7 spots, and it looks like he's going to continue to drop more. So whatever he is feeling in that car, he does not feel confidence, I can tell you that. And now Riley Thompson sizing him up for a position.
Sometimes those bumps will just catch you off guard. You're not ready for how bumpy the ride is going to be. You got to deal with that for 148 laps. So you can imagine how nervous some of these drivers are probably feeling, making sure they just don't mess up and don't hit the wall. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you know how to drive it first, as Riley Thompson's going to dive down to get his spot into the top 20 here.
Up the road, Cameron Hearn driving away. Clear racetrack for him. Up front, Brendan Queen moves into 2nd place. Thomas Bressie to 3rd. And Bressie, again, in the points, not having the start of the year that he would like. So far, the 24 Bressie is mired all the way back in 24th in the point standings. So that is not the direction he would like to go. 24th and 33rd is not a great way to start the season. Currently 3rd right now would be a great points day for him. Michael Stroll in 2nd in the points, runs 7th right now with Nick Massey tucked in behind. Massey quiet so far this season. Haven't seen a lot out of him, but I'd expect a win or two by the end of the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him get into victory lane at some point. He obviously won that Erska championship. Massey did, and I really do expect him to be at the front sooner or later this season. And I also expect that 24 to get up there in the playoffs as well. Talked about the races that Bressie has had so far this season haven't been the greatest, but this is only, I believe, race 3, and he's got plenty of time left. If he can hold on to a top 3, even a top 5, he's definitely in good hands to get back into the points picture.
Cameron Hearn 1.7 seconds up the road. Queen is dropping off pace a little bit more than Bressie is right now, so they are starting to lose some ground. You see Justin Morton in behind Alan Elwood, and that's that green and blue number 5 in the background. Then Braxton DeWeese in the 1, a driver that was very excited to join Fuel this season, and thus far hasn't had the greatest of years. Looking at the point situation, Braxton is mired in 27th so far this year, a 19th and a 29th, similar stats to Bressie. But having a good run so far tonight. This is a driver's racetrack here, Connor, so he probably will have a decent evening.
Yeah, he's looking good so far, able to hold his line down on that bottom line here. He's always been a solid driver I've seen him in official racing for years at this point, and he's always been solid. Doesn't matter what car it is, he's always able to run up at the front. I expect no different from him this season, and he's making a bit of a name for himself in Fuel so far. P6 is pretty good, and he's definitely looking for more. He's trying to close in on the 5 of Elwood, who sat in 5th. Only lost 1 spot on the start so far.
Will Roberts in the number 3, chasing Bronson Stafford in the 61 car just up the road in the Cineplex Supra. A lot of single filing out. This is something we sort of expected here, Connor, but this is what you talked about, is how tricky it is to pass. Look at the 24, still stuck behind Brendan Queen. It's not like you could just get up to someone and pick a different lane and go. I think we will see the outside lane maybe get some strength, but not this early in the race.
One thing I'm trying to look for is, when is this 15 of Cameron Hearn going to fall off? My first instinct is to think that he's wearing his tires out too much. He's 0.2 faster than Brendan Queen and 2nd on average, so hopefully he doesn't wear the tires out. This would be great to see him absolutely pull away and just assert his dominance in the series after Brendan Queen just tried to do the same last week. But that 15 car is looking really sharp. He's almost got a full straightaway lead.
And actually still running quicker than everybody else on the racetrack. Sans the 5 of Alan Elwood. Well, there was a car poking out a line in the backdrop. Didn't quite see who it was, but they were going to try to go 3 wide into turn 3. They got it sorted before the corner. I think it was this group back here. There it is. Danny Ware in the 19, and through goes Davey Hendricks. And Finian DeCuna did not qualify. New livery from Rodenzo on board this car this week. Running 25th. And maybe just trying to stay out of trouble here early.
And another thing you're going to start to see with a lot of these drivers, especially closer to the back of the pack, you're going to start to see those right front fenders start to get a bit digged in. You see Tyler Hensley, he already has some damage. I believe Casey Shue has a little bit of right front fender damage. I believe it was the 50 of Casey Lakatos who might have had some damage. No, that was Danny Ware, actually. But you're already starting to see people making mistakes pretty early.
Yeah, it was Danny Ware out of turn 2. Almost lost control of the car. Good gather. He'll move on. Look at this pack here behind Casey Shue. Chevrolet Supra, 18th through 24th. first as Brad Slaughter goes to the inside of the 56 to Thompson. Buck's back in line, can't complete the pass. That's where that outside lane is going to be starting to get stronger as the run goes on here, Connor. You could be able to defend up there, and then hopefully by the end of the race he can make a pass up there too.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to get the outside line working for passes. Slaughter gets into a wall a little bit in the turn 3. I thought I saw someone almost into a wall in turn 1, but all looks good. But it's gonna take a little bit of time to get that outside line going in. But once it is in, you'll be able to defend up there all right, especially out of turn 4. It's really hard to defend on the outside turns 1 and 2, but I've seen it been done before. So we'll have to wait and see how long exactly it takes, but it might not be until the first round of pit stops.
Casey Shue dropping a couple positions, obviously not feeling very strong when he's moved off the yellow line on the racetrack. Keeping an eye on Cameron Hearn, Brendan Queen, and Bressie are starting to reel him back in. So you were wondering when his car was going to fall off. Well, I think you now have your answer. Queen is now 1.5 seconds back. That's come down from 2.7 at its peak. And Thomas Bressie and Justin Morton following right behind. So we could see a battle up front here before too long.
Gotta have to hope that he didn't overwear that tire, because depending on what the fuel situation is, I don't know exactly how long he can go on fuel. I just remember from the time of the last caution in the race that I did, it was 1 stop, but I feel like he could only do 2 stops here. But you just have to wait and see. You do not want to overwear that right front tire if you're going for a really long run, because you might risk blowing it and hitting that outside wall.
There's Michael Stroll going by Braxton DeWeese. That's for 6th place. Again, Stroll comes into the night second in the point standings after finishing second in them at the tail end of last season. 33 points back from eventual season champion Shane Terrian, who's right at the back of this shot, running 9th. Leading the points coming into the night, Connor. Is this one of those series where you have to win races, or is this a consistency series? Because looking back at last season's results, I see consistency being more of the reward, with Shane Terrian only winning 2 races. It seemed like top.
Oh, spinner out of turn 4, trying to see who that is. They all saved it. Tyler Hensley on the apron, as well as Bronson Stafford. That was really close. He was dead sideways.
Back and have a look. Oh, wow. 61 was definitely sideways. Let's go back a little farther and see where it started. 44 dives in on the bottom, washes up just the slightest bit, touches the 61. We stay green. Good save by Stafford.
And he didn't even hit the wall. I don't know how he was able to save that. That banking came in handy there. See, Hensley got on the bottom, just couldn't hold that yellow line, and Stafford, nothing he could do there but just try to catch the car before he hit that inside wall. It was a great job by that 61.
Yeah, really, really good job. Chad Simpson says, thank you very much. I'll take a couple of those spots. Braxton DeWeese starting to feel some more pressure from behind. Nick Massey in the 20 and Shane Terrian beginning to knock on the door, as Will Roberts and Tom Bourne trade spots.
And the yellow is out. Trying to see where that came out. Casey Shue destroyed in the turn number 3.
Oh, yeah, that's a big impact there. I think there's another car that was involved. I think it was Robert Kenny. So our first caution of the day out at lap number 25. Let's see where this one started. Caught it at the tail end here.
He's right behind Kenny here. See if maybe Kenny hits the wall and Shue has nowhere to go.
Looking like, yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah. And, oh, man, both drivers hit hard. Kenny's got a lot of damage as well, but that 4 is done for them. Definitely competitively done for the day.
Yeah, just get collected and slam that inside wall. That's a big hit for Casey Shue. Not the race that he wanted for round number 3, but first caution out, and I think everyone's going to want to come take tires here, Connor, but is it too early maybe? Would you rather stay out? I don't think so. I think everyone's going to come.
I think you do got to come in here, but that tire set limit, I think they only do have 3 fresh sets, so you kind of got to pick your battles wisely, because lap 26, you're already taking a set. You got to be careful with it, but at the same time, you do have to take tires here, because this could be the run to the end with how many green flag runs we've seen at this track, so I think a lot of people are going to take their tires, but saying that, you got people staying out.
That is a really even split. I thought for sure we'd see more drivers come, and I'm sort of erring on the side of I want tires, Connor, because we've seen these races go pretty much green. Almost every series we've ever seen come here, other than maybe the road caution or 2. So I don't think we're going to get a whole bunch of late race cautions. I'd rather have tires now, but now with so many people adopting the no pit strategy, this might just work for them.
It's going to take a lot of time for Cameron Hearn to get back up to the front if this does go green. So maybe this will work for guys like Brendan Queen and Thomas Bressie, and they can battle it themselves. But I definitely expected everyone to come in. I'm surprised anyone stayed out, let alone almost half the field. I'm trying to count them all here. It's about maybe almost close to 15, so I'm pretty surprised by that. In case Licata is going to get off pit road first, he might have taken 2 tires.
Well, it's actually an exactly even split if you count Casey Shue being out as well as Robert Kenny, so pretty surprising to me But now we've got the field on two very different strategies. We've seen that go poorly in the past. So I think the fear that I have now is what is the speed difference going to look like and how messy is this going to be? This might be a caution creates caution sort of situation.
Yes, it definitely could get dicey because you're going to have those drivers on fresh tires as the Cottis comes back in from pits. You're going to have those drivers trying to get back through the field just in case it does go green at the end. They're going to be rushing to get back to the front. If they get to the front, they're going to be gone, but they're going to be rushing to get there, and that could go bad if you have a guy on old tires trying to block a guy on new tires. You're not going to get out of that situation.
You're watching the Carolina 150 on Sim TV. Brendan Queen leads the race after not pitting on this most recent caution, our first caution of the night, involving the 4 of Casey Shue and the 34 of Robert Kenny collecting each other at the exit of turn 2 and hitting the inside wall. Third race of the season. Next week we'll have an off week before we head to the Charlotte Roval, round number 4 of the season. My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn. Coming to the restart here in just a moment. But Brendan Queen, last week's winner, making waves in this series, Connor. This is I would look, if I'm Thomas Bresci, if I'm the 83 Shane Terrian, I'm afraid of this 0-3 because he's good and capable of winning a championship by what I've seen so far.
If I was Bresci, I'd be used to this because Terrian kind of did the same thing last season. Stole the championship from almost everyone who didn't expect him to do really anything with his consistency. And, Queen's trying to do the same thing to Terrian, what Terrian did to everyone else. And he's doing a good job of it so far. He's been up front not almost, every race he's been in. All 2, he's been up front, leading the race now, and he's put himself in a good position to go for the win here. Even if this does go green, it's a good track position to have.
Field re-racks and restacks going for the restart. No surprise, the 0-3 will take the bottom of the racetrack for the restart. And we have had 32 starters to this race, and 31 of them will take the green flag. Casey Shue done for the night with that crash damage after that collision at the exit of turn 2.
We'll see what everyone does. I'm really excited to see. I'm interested to see how the restart is. We'll see if tire spin comes into play. I don't think these drivers have practiced restarts on old tires. They're not too old, but 25 laps will make a difference, so hopefully everyone's ready for that.
Coming to the restart, lap number 30 of 148, about 50 minutes of racing left if we were to go green from here, which is a distinct possibility. I'm not sure it's likely, as the pace car will make the hard left back onto pit lane and going green again from the rock. Out front, Brendan Queen, Thomas Bresci. Green flag in the air, we're racing again. Whoa, we're way wide on the front straightaway. How many cars is that?
That's at least 3. That's Cameron Hearn trying to get track position over everyone else on new tires. He went all the way down to the apron to make those passes.
That was wild. He's going to grab a few, and Pistorius got way sideways at the exit of turn 2. It's going to create a bit of a stack up here into 3. Wild moment, but Hearn making up ground while he still can, flying through the field.
Yeah, no one else even came close to the ground he made up there. Hearn's getting to the front in a hurry. He went 11th to 8th on that one lap. Make that 7th. He just went by Justin Morton, who's stuck on that top lane.
Let's go back again and look at this one more time before things get wild. Look at this run he's going to have out of turn 4. Sees the hole open to the bottom, and he just goes for it. 3 wide there. Looked like they were going to go 4.
Boy.
As we are stacking them up, aren't we?
Oh, they were trying to go 3 wide again in the turn number 3, and that just can't work. 54 of Davey Hendricks was the big loser in that one. I thought I was getting ready to yell over a wreck. I don't know how they didn't wreck yet.
This is what we expected, though, after the kind of mix of strategies. The speed difference between some of these cars is going to be pretty extreme. Up for second place, Thomas Bresci and Alan Elwood trading spots, and I fear, Connor, that things are going to get uglier before they get prettier here with all this chaos.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch that mid-pack very intensely because it is, like you said, it is going to get ugly. We're definitely going to have to watch for Cameron Hearn to, if he gets to the lead before a wreck might happen, he might pull away here. How big his tire difference is. He's already going for 4th on Chip Terry.
Whoa, car real close to the fence at the exit of turn 2. I think that was Will Robertson, the 3. Gathers it back up. Shane Terrian, though, already lost a position to Hearn. So far, the answer has obviously been tires, which we didn't expect to be any different. Like, we knew tires were going to be better. I just don't think we expected people to stay out. I don't think that was the strategy that everyone would have pulled, but lo and behold, here they are.
Yeah, I didn't expect anyone to stay out, and we'll see if it comes into play later in the race, keeping that extra set, but they need a quick yellow for that to work, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. You got Tom Bourne way up the track into turn 4, and with the way they're stacked up in some places, as Joseph Tebben almost spins out of turn 4, the way they're stacked up, this can't end well.
No, I'm amazed that we haven't wad him up already. Chad Simpson, big sideways moment through turns 1 and 2. Gets the 20 car of Massey, the 11 of Morton, and Pistorius all stacked up 3 wide. Here comes the 81 at the bottom. It's Brad Slaughter Jr. Door gets slammed, can't make that move there.
Had a sort of an incident in the back. Danny Ware just kind of got bullied out of the way by Joshua Personette, but they kept it straight. They kept it green, but all these drivers are still trying to, get by each other and all that. Pistorius trying to hang on. Nick Massey struggling back there. Riley Thompson can't get off the top line. He's almost into the outside wall under turn 2. A lot of guys struggling.
Shane Terrian loses a position to Michael Stroll. You can see Ferdinand D'Acuna jumping up inside the top 10, so that was maybe a good call. I think maybe staying out or coming in to get tires was obviously the call if you were 10th on back, but I don't think it was quite so obvious to everybody else because they didn't do it.
And it's going to be interesting for the rest of the race because now, you said it, the whole field is split legitimately, 15-15. Everyone's split different strategies, different tire strategies, and all that is.
Well,
it's going to be interesting.
Cameron Hernandez, while we were talking, has gotten to the lead and checked out 1.6 seconds, getting really racy now for second place. Deweese and Queen trading spots here.
That's big because if there is a yellow, that's pretty much the race for the lead as Queen's almost getting moved out of the way here by Matthew Rodriguez, who's also on new tires. As Deweese got by, I think Deweese is the second guy on new tires, and now you got more and more drivers with new tires getting up to the front. Michael Stroll getting squeezed there by that the 03 machine there of Queen. They're not making him, they're not giving it to him easy, that's for sure.
There's still so many stack-ups around the racetrack. Casey Licata's popping out on David Mott Jr. back for 21st place. Here's a pass for position. Thompson to the inside of the 84 of Bourne for 16th. And Brad Slaughter sitting behind, wondering where to find a room to race. Look at all the room up ahead he's got. 3 wide? Oh, yeah.
Just a bow. Tom Bourne just getting out of all of that, at least trying to get out of all that as Slaughter Jr. uses those tires trying to use his tire to his advantage to get by that 9 of Pistorius, but Pistorius able to fight back on his tires. They might be the same tires, but you see that outside lane coming in a little bit out of turn 4, able to defending, keep that position and keep everyone behind him.
Bourne continues to slide backwards. Here's a bit up the road. Thomas Bresci, Brendan Queen, Finian D'Acuna, all trading positions. And Brendan Queen, remember, he restarted in the lead. He's back to 9th, so this is quickly turning the wrong direction. I don't think we're going to get a late race caution, so I would have pit. I don't get it. But maybe they'll prove me wrong, but this is just such a huge chance, and you're giving up all this track position that's so hard to make up later in the race.
He lost all of his track position because out of turn 4, Alan Elwood just moved him out of the way. He didn't want to wait. He had to go. So Queen, like you said, about to fall out of a top 10 here. Really struggling here. If we get a long run and everyone has to pit, it's really no good because everyone's going to take the tires and you lost your track position. They need a yellow to come out soon, else they're really not going to be in a good spot.
Will Roberts almost knocked down the fence in the parking lot in turn number 2, went all the way to the top of the racetrack. D'Acuna has a look up the inside of Elwood. That's for 6th. He will make that pass look easy on those fresh tires.
Still got stack-ups all around the track like you were just talking about. None of them have gone anywhere. You got Case Licatis in front of a lot of people in the 19th position. Robert Kenny, who was in that wreck trying to get back up to the field right in front of Tyler Hensley, John Van Varellis, and among others. A lot of people stacked up behind a few of these drivers.
This race is pretty short, only 150 miles. It's going to be over before you know it. Already 40 minutes remaining. Here's Riley Thompson up the inside of Slaughter. Thompson is one of the drivers that is on the 44-lap old tires. But right now, the top 6 are all drivers that pit under the most recent caution. There's only 2 inside the top 10 that are still on the previous strategy. That's Elwood and Bresci. And Brendan Queen, first all the way back to 14th. He is hurting, Connor. Those tires are not treating him very well.
Yeah, he doesn't hit the wall, at least not yet, but he's definitely struggling. That right front not looking too hot at all. And I'm definitely surprised by it. We'll have to see if that right front will, really hold up at all, but he's definitely been struggling. Brian Champ is going to be the next one to pass it.
Chad Simpson up into 10th spot in his Toyota Supra. Moves up on position. Matthew Rodriguez putting pressure on Braxton Deweese this time through.
Oh, wreck on the backstretch. 2 drivers got into it. They're going to be able to save it. Sam Crow and I think Daniel Ware got into it. They were able to keep it straight. Sam Crow coming back up onto the track.
Go back and see what prompted this. Backstretch has been the tricky spot. 19 is going to just catch the wall, turn the 7 car across the nose. We're playing with some bumper cars there, but they should both be able to continue with some minor damage.
Minor damage for the driver who got pinched into the wall. Sam Crow hit it pretty good with that right front fender, so we'll see if he can continue at a decent pace. But that damage is definitely, I would say it's somewhat significant.
Yeah, we'll see if it has a fairly major effect. This is one of those racetracks that's sort of in the in-between of if aero matters or not. Really fast cornering speeds, but a lot of that's due to partially because of the banking. The 14 car got knocked sideways in turn 1 by Josh Personette in the 18, so they had to do a little battle there for a moment. They've sorted that out.
I thought that was going to be another wreck here and there. They barely got into it, and somehow they saved it again. As got drivers, they're trying to spread out, but they're really not. Other drivers, especially at the back, aren't getting away from each other. Case Lacadas finally has some breathing room to people in front of him, and now we got a battle for second. Braxton Deweese under attack.
Matthew Rodriguez is coming with a vengeance. Here comes Michael Stroll behind as well. Door is open. The one car is going to try to get back down there, hang on the quarter panel, can't do it. Here comes Stroll to the bottom.
Gonna try to get that run off of turn 2. He is going to get a big run off of 2 compared to Stroll. He'll get that. He'll settle into a third position. We see the outside line for defending at least. It's looking pretty sharp.
Yeah, Stroll had to lift there for just a moment, and that cost him a ton of time. He's going to throttle out of turn 4. I think Deweese is weaker in turn 4 than he is in turn 2. Lost all that ground he made up on corner exit and 2 on the corner exit of turn 4.
I think we can officially say that everyone who's on old tires is outside the top 10. I think the first one is Elwood, who's now 11th, Bressy 12th, and Terry in 13th. So those drivers, if there was to be a yellow, and for some reason those guys who took new tires didn't take tires again, they'd be the next ones in line.
Yeah, the top 10 are all drivers that have most recently pit under that caution at lap number 24. Davey Hendricks, John Van Varelis, Riley Thompson. Not seeing a lot of those 56. I would have expected Thompson to have performed a little bit better so far this season. Looking down, well, I shouldn't say this season. He performed pretty well the first 2 races, 14th at Daytona and 2nd at Auto Club. But the performance tonight is not making me confident for his year-long attempt at potentially getting a championship. But we'll see how it all cycles out.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if I think he just really couldn't get through the field at all. If anything, he's actually almost 20 seconds behind race leader Cameron Hearn. So he's not the only one who's going to be in danger of going a lap down. Everyone who didn't get tires is going to be in danger of getting lapped, and really going to be put in a bad spot for the rest of this race if they don't get saved by yellow. Because Cameron Hearn's about to catch the back of the pack.
Braxton Deweese going back on Matthew Rodriguez into turn 2. This is an interesting move. It's rare that you see someone get past and then recomplete a pass. Usually they just get past because the other guy is going faster, but Deweese will repass Rodriguez and now leave Matthew to deal with Michael behind him in that number 8 car for 3rd.
And they're all in a battle on their own for that second position right now. As Cameron Hearns, he's in a battle just to get through the lap traffic. We talked about this. We got a green flag run. How well will the leaders get through lap traffic? So far, he's been patient. He's done a good job. Trying to deal with David Mott Jr. right now, who good under him. 26 cars on the lead lap now. Just got to be patient. He's got a 3-second lead, nothing to worry about.
Well, if you're looking at drivers to keep an eye on all year long, Cameron Hearn, again, as I mentioned, after Auto Club Speedway, gained 18 spots in the points. He has led 45 of the 55 laps we've completed tonight. Early signs are good for this number 15 Supra. And leading this race by 2.8 seconds, and commandingly, he has not looked back at all tonight, and that's a fearful thing for everybody else. Brendan Queen off strategy, back in 15th place, gives up a spot to Tyler Hensley in that 44. Shane Terry in the 83, current points leader, got off strategy, and I don't know why. Maybe this was the safer move, potentially, but again, looking at past stats, I wouldn't have expected late race cautions. So I don't think this was the safe move. I think the safe move was take tires.
And for a green flag run, they're going to have to stretch their tires longer than the leaders are going to have to stretch their tires. They're going to have to go somewhere around halfway until they think about pitting. And at that point, their right front tires might be going down. So I don't know if they expected to go green from past experience. We know these races go green at this track a lot. It's kind of uncommon to a lot of people, but it does happen.
Whoa, trouble. Turn 1.
Oh, boy.
Tebben and Will Roberts clobber each other. That was a little argy-bargy there. Move the 60 car up to 9th. I think Will Roberts got a message sent to him there. We'll see if he sends it back. Here he comes.
Oh, I don't think he's going to make that stick. He's going to go up the track, chase a 60 up there a little bit, stay under him here at a turn number 4. Contact almost made, but not quite yet. I think it's going to come. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, he is one of the administrators of this league, so I'd be cautious of doing anything like that. Alan Elwood's got a great view of it, though, that's for sure. He's running 11th right now.
He's getting back up to these guys, even though he is on older tires. That's only because they got into each other, but it seems like these tires are getting close to evening out a little bit. They're not as fast as the leaders. They're not completely in line with the leaders, but it seems like it's evened out a little bit. Ott Jr. slammed the wall hard at the turn 2 there.
Looking down, the field covers basically the entire racetrack. Cameron Hearn in the middle of traffic still. He's got the 85 of Boomer Logan next and the 9 of Hayden Pistorius to get by. He's put everybody up to 22nd place a lap down, and he'll make that up to 21st now as he goes by Boomer Logan in the Mustang on the high side.
Oh, he's in a wall, and that's going to be the 11 going around down the backstretch. Justin Morton hit of a wall, caution out.
Second caution of the day, lap 61. Morton gets tagged. Boomer Logan going a lap down. This is where we see so many incidents. Connor is leaving turn 2, getting into that wall. Logan just bounces into it, knocks the 11 around, and watch the TDR drivers try to avoid each other here.
Was that Riley Thompson who already went a lap down? I couldn't tell. One of a TDR.
Yeah, it was Riley Thompson in the 56.
He might get the lucky dog here, actually, because he didn't get an incident out of all of this just because he got on the binders, watching his teammate bite the dust there, but he's able to get by. Might have gotten a lucky dog. Either that, there's no lucky dog. He's definitely going to have a scary view of this, but it's going to be a good view.
Well, it would have been a better view if it wasn't his teammate. Into the concrete on the outside, backs it down, goes to the right. And Riley Thompson moves on through again. He is not the first one scored one lap down. That'd be Boomer Logan, but Boomer ineligible because of the car contact. Cameron Hearn hits pit lane again. And, well, now we see if this strategy is, well, everyone's going to come hit pit lane at this point.
Still got about 85 laps to go. If there was a yellow with about 30, 40 laps to go, you got these guys who pit on the first yellow with only 1 set left. Everyone else has 2 sets left who didn't come to pit road. So depending on where the yellows fall, this could get even more interesting.
Well, we've got so many cars still running that I guess the possibility for cautions is still fairly high. I wouldn't bet on it necessarily. Look at the 0-3. He's got some damage, Connor. The 0-3 Brennan Queen, he's had somebody run into him or he's run into something. And he's picked up some right rear damage. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, but didn't see where he picked that up from.
Definitely a few laps ago. It didn't happen very recently. It must have been somewhere where he was getting past because we saw him getting freight trained by everyone on new tires. I think it was actually, might have been trying to actually look back right now. It was Will Roberts got into the back of him, and that would probably explain the front end damage on the 3 machine. So they got together. It's definitely going to hurt Roberts more than it hurt the 0-3, but Queen was really struggling there on those old tires, and now he doesn't even have the track position that he had earlier, so it's going to be a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's going to restart way back in 19th until we maybe cycle some drivers out. Riley Thompson just hit pit lane. So Cameron Hearn leads this race. He has been the dominant force so far, led 53 of the 64 laps that we've run. And as we near the halfway point shortly, I think Cameron Hearn is going to lock in those halfway bonus points as well, given that he has been the class of the field. No one's really been able to touch him just yet. So Cameron Hearn looking pretty good so far. Connor, pick me a winner. Is it the 15 or is it somebody else?
I think it is the 15. I don't know how you could bet against him. No one else has shown the pace to get to him. The only one who was Brendan Queen, who was reeling him back in on that long run on that first run, but that's really the only head-to-head things we've seen with anyone trying to get to that 15. Braxton DeWeese wasn't catching him really that much. Joseph Tebben, who's up to 3rd now, same with him. Michael Stroll. That 15's really strong. I don't see how he loses this one.
Might be pretty hard for him to lose it, but it's going to be hard for him to win it as well. It's a long way to go. There's the 18 car of Josh Personette. Should get his wave around here as we double up for the restart. 1 to go. There he goes. Riley Thompson did get the free pass. He will cycle back around. A little bit of left front damage on that car, but he should be able to continue without too much drama.
I think this is where we might see even more drama on a restart. The later these restarts get, the higher the tensions get. So we'll see if anyone races each other harder for any of these positions, because we know how important it is to get to that yellow line on a restart. So I think everyone's going to be fighting for it more and more each and every restart.
And as the track begins to cool potentially, the sun getting a little bit lower in the sky. We started at 91 degrees track temp. We're down to 88. So we might see grip levels slowly increase. The track's getting rubbered in. We haven't really had a long enough green flag run to maybe fool around with that outside groove and if it'll come in. So far, it doesn't look good. We've seen the outside groove work here in the Cup car as of late, but this Class B car is sort of an unknown for a lot of people. All right, coming to the restart, Hearn, DeWeese on the front row. Then it's Joseph Tebben, Michael Stroll, Matthew Rodriguez, the rest of your top 5. Finney DeCuna, 6, Massey, Simpson, Elwood, Bresci, the rest of your top 10. Green flag back in the air. Oh, big stack up to the middle of turn 2 behind Tebben. This could get ugly on the backstretch. Everyone fans out.
Oh, we got a spinner in the back off of turn number 2. Trying to see who that is way at the back. I think it's Jonathan Gervin. It is in the 33. He's going to get it back going. No yellow.
We stay green. More trouble in turn 4. There's
boy.
car. Nick Massey's turned around. More cars. Stroll is in the grass on the front straightaway, too. There's the caution flag.
Well, Roberts actually manually threw that because there was no yellows. Nick Massey gets a good bit of left front damage. See if anyone else was involved.
Yeah, there was trouble there. Stroll getting involved here. Look from a top-down view and see if the 8's going to get into the 60 at Tebben, right? And yep, and they're all just going to stack up.
Massey had nowhere to go, and then I don't know if that was the 8 getting back onto the track or the 60 giving him a hip check, and the 8 barely missed that barrier there with the barrels.
Let's go back and look at the restart and let's see what happened to Jonathan Gervin in the 33. It's on the inside of the 50. Lakatos kind of wobbling back and forth. And he might get tagged there from the 84. Yep, send him around. Then back up the road to Stroll. The 60 car, again, was real slow on their restart and just started stacking up the field, and people couldn't stop stacking up. The 8 car almost drills this pit wall. Got very lucky to not didn't nail those barrels. Again, he's second in the points. He can't afford a day like that. Or a day like this.
Yeah, that was very close to being even worse than it already was. Trying to look back on the pit stops there. I don't even know if the 60 took tires, to be completely honest. I don't think he was up in the 3rd position before that run.
He couldn't have taken tires. He only took 7 seconds in the pits, so that's not even enough for 2. So I think Tebben, either he took 2 or he had a really fast stop or he didn't take anything at all.
Yeah, he crossed line 10th when the other yellow came out, and when I looked at his pit stop, I didn't see any jacks going up, so must have been a fuel-only stop, and that's probably why he was so slow in the center, and Stroll wasn't expecting it. He just ran him over. Nothing intentional there by Stroll. It was just he had to go.
The strategy tonight has been way different than I was expecting it to be. I thought it'd be pretty straightforward. Take tires, when you pit, but it hasn't been that way. We've seen a couple of cautions breaking up this race in a way I wasn't expecting. So I don't think, we've had people take no tires. We've had people take 4 tires, fuel only. What's going on, Connor? It's confusing.
I think 2 tires would be the easiest one to try, and I don't think anyone's tried 2 tires yet, but someone tried fuel only, which I'm shocked by, and it worked okay, but he got his rear end full of damage now, and he's even got some left front damage there, although the left front looks worse than the rear end, but even then, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like you said, you thought you just take tires and that's over with, but I guess 3 tire sets isn't enough for these guys. They're really trying to conserve at any chance they can get.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Thomas Bresci here. Hey, Thomas Bresci, it's Kyle Heyer from the SimTV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going well up here. You're running 6 right now. Not bad. It's been a little bit chaotic tonight. We want to know about the strategy. It's all over the place right now. Is this race going the way you thought it was going to go?
Yes and no. I think some guys are kind of now short on tires. Like, I know a few people already got only 1 set left, and we're not even halfway yet, so that'll be fun. But kind of surprised with the lack of cautions in a way. I really expected the start of the race to be a little bit more messy, but I thought the tires would fall off faster, but they kind of didn't, which is why I think a bunch of us stayed out the first time and went backwards. But hey, we got an extra set of tires, so it's been interesting though.
Yeah, it's been pretty claustrophobic, I know, in the midfield, but you're coming to 1 to green, so good luck to you, Thomas. We'll talk to you later if we get some more cautions. We'll hopefully see you at the end in Victory Lane.
Sounds good. See you guys.
See ya. All right, so with 1 to green, we'll re-rack him, restack him, go again. And interesting to hear that this race is sort of going like Bresci was expecting to some extent. Connor, I've seen a bunch of races here at this racetrack, and they've all ended the same way. Long green flag runs, occasional caution flags, and someone dominating the race. We've seen one of those 3 things happen tonight, but we've had more cautions than I was expecting, and we've seen shorter green flag runs than I was expecting. So Cameron Hearn's the only driver fulfilling my expectations tonight.
Yeah, it's if it's going to plan for everyone else, then cool, but it's not what I expected up here. I expected pretty straightforward race. It's been straightforward for Cameron Hearn, no doubt about that, but everyone's been up and down the field. It seems like Braxton DeWeese out of nowhere to get the second, the 83. Shane Terry, he's up there in 7th, but he wants a little bit more. He got the 60 on no tires still out there on the track, restarting in that 8th position. We've had a lot of comers and a lot of goers, except for that 15. Still looking for someone to knock him off the top spot.
If we go green to the end here, this race is almost over. 32 minutes of racing. If we were to go green from here to the checkers, we'll see if that could be the case. Cameron Hearn brings us to the green flag, racing again at the Rock. Good restart for the 15, Braxton DeWeese, ahead of Finian DeCuna in the 94, who's had a surprisingly great start to the season after sort of just getting his feet wet in this series. Has found his way into the top 10 both races so far this year. One of the few drivers to do just that. We have a midfield battle here. Here's John Van Rellis and Brendan Queen, who started this race up inside the top 5, led some laps, and now dropped all the way back to 17th after some contact with the 3 of Will Roberts.
Tebbin's still struggling. He's still on no tires there. Tyler Hensley's trying to find a way by him. He gets way sideways. He goes up the track. Now it's Matthew Rodriguez who's up in the top 3, trying to find another way to get around this 60 machine.
Yeah, Tubbin's been very timid on the restart specifically, and that kind of stacks up the field behind. So this is one of these things where you have to drive the car off to the corner maybe faster than you want to, just to make sure that you've got aero grip and mechanical grip. I think he's not feeling the aero there right now and is uncomfortable until the tires warm up. Roberts back behind the 60 car, pushing the issue on the outside. He'll tuck up underneath.
Tebbin almost into a wall. I don't know what the fuel only call was about. Trying to keep drive position. He's trying to get in front of the 56 of Riley Thompson. I don't know if that's going to go very well. Thompson all over the back bumper of that 60 machine, trying to find a way below him, which he will do. Never talk about air out Rockingham, but it does matter a little bit, especially if you ding up the left front or the right front like a lot of these drivers have on them.
Got plenty of banking to lean on. No issues there. Oh, he's going to be in the fence.
Oh, yeah.
There they go. There they go. There's the 34, Kenny. He's going to loop it.
He's going to...
Nope.
Yep, there he goes.
Oh, Clickborn too, and the 60 car. Big crash in turn 3. The 11 gets tagged again.
I think Hayden Pistorius might have got involved there as well. A lot. No, not Hayden Pistorius, another driver. He kind of saw that coming. That 60 had no grip.
It's 14 of David Mott Jr. that you were pointing out in that green and black car. That was the longest wreck I've seen in a while, but somehow also pretty predictable. Let's go back and, well, I got to go back a little farther than that to collect where it starts. But this 60 car just not in control here on these restarts, Connor. And I mentioned, I think he's just a little too timid, and that's causing some stack-ups and some problems here.
He was nowhere close to the bottom. When with no tires, you're not going to save that. Kenny did a good job avoiding him. The 11 did a good job getting on the brakes. Everyone avoided him well. To 34, he's already has damage. He doesn't have control. Just trying to fishtail and save it. He can't do it. The 60 gets into him again. Tom Bourne has nowhere to go. He overcorrects back into his 60 to 11. Tough day gets even worse. The 19 barely avoids, and Dave Mott Jr. just nowhere to go for him.
Yeah, that's a big one. Let's ride on board here maybe with the 60 car just to get his on-board perspective of this.
See, the front end, he already lost the front end there, and he's along for the ride. He saves it. He thinks everything's good. Then he sees the 34 fishtailing it. He doesn't know what to do. Now he thinks he's good here, but here comes the 34 back.
Oh. You're getting hit by about 10 different people there. That was not a graceful situation. Took a whole back straightaway to crash here.
And he got 10 guys behind the 34 just saying, please don't do this, but they all did it. Mott Jr. is one of them saying that he had nowhere to go. There's 10 drivers who just had nothing they could do there. Lakatos got some damage there as well.
Fourth caution of the night, picking him up, laying him down. And now this is sort of stretching us to the point where I'm concerned about late race cautions again. Cameron Hearn, Braxton DeWeese, Finian DeCuna, your top 3. They've already pit twice. Thomas Bresci, he's looking great. Only pit one time, and he's in 4th.
Yeah, this is probably going to really help the guys who, don't have an extra set like guys like Bresci do, and that's really going to help them if they get more yellow flag laps, because they're not going to have to worry about using that final set too late, and sooner or later it might even be even with everyone else around them. So I would say this is working in their favor.
Race progress has slowed significantly from our early green flag run. We had 24 laps under green to start this race, and now we've got a whole bunch of cars on pit lane. Michael Stroll, one of them, may be taking this opportunity to fix some of that car. Has a little bit of damage. There's Robert Kenny, who's been in a couple incidents so far today. Joseph Tebbin is out for the day. Justin Morton is out. So is Boomer Logan, is 4 laps down but still rolling after his incident, going a lap down a couple cautions ago. Casey Shue, Tebben, and David Mott. Nope, correction. Just Tebben and Casey Shue are the only drivers confirmed out. Everyone else still rolling. Justin Morton probably will be as well, given the state of damage on his car.
Yeah, the guys like the 11, the 34, they had rough ones today. The 60 as well. Casey Shue didn't even get started. A lot of drivers, you know, early in this season with a race like this, kind of hard to recover from and kind of hard to keep motivated. But that's Rockingham for you. It's not Dover exactly. It's not the Lady in Black, but you know, the monster will take a bite out of you, especially even if it's at Rockingham. This track will, you know, bring you to tears with how tough it is.
What's our time restriction looking like? I mean, that's my next concern, is these races don't typically leave. We have a time limit on all these races. And we don't typically run all the way to the end. We have an hour and 40 minutes, which I don't think we're going to hit. We'll still have an hour left. I don't think it's going to take us an hour to finish 60-something laps. But, yeah, I mean, I think so far this progress has slowed significantly enough to make me slightly concerned about that. But coming to the green here in a moment. Cameron Hearn, Braxton DeWeese, Finney, and DeCuna. And DeCuna, again, I don't think it's been raw pace. It's just been conservation and carefulness that has put him in 6th in the points and 3rd right now in this race.
Yeah, you could look at his car compared to everyone else around him. You got Hearn up there, Braxton DeWeese and Finian and Bresci. You got running out of clean cars up there at the front, top 6, top 8 even. They don't have any damage. Then you get back to Brian Chambers with the rear end damage. Matthew Rodriguez has some damage. We're running out of clean cars. Those drivers up there trying to keep it as cool as possible here.
Well, this is one of those tracks that is technically a speedway, but it sort of feels like a short track in some ways. And to have a clean car at the end of this is not always a given. All right, coming again to the restart, lap number 81 of 148. Hearn, DeWeese, DeCuna, Bresci, Terry in your top 5. Again, Terry in last year's champion in row number 3. Green flag back in the air, run it again. Hearn fires off and away. He clears the one car by the time they get to turn 1, and DeCuna looks up the inside for 2nd. Frantic restart once again. Up the inside, Hayden Pistorius had a look under Finney and DeCuna. He's dropped back very quickly on this restart. Going the wrong direction here. Davey Hendricks, another driver I see creeping forward. He started all the way back in 28th. He's up inside the top 10 now and moving forward.
Been more calm of a restart this time. More single file happening this time compared to the other restarts here. Bronson Stafford, Davey Hendricks trying to battle for the 9th position. Nothing doing. You go all the way back to Riley Thompson after getting that lucky dog and surviving a few instances, trying to get back up through the field, trying to get 16th from Tyler Hensley.
Here comes Hendricks continuing to climb forward here. Everyone on the same strategy at this point. The one thing that has sort of happened with all this cycling and caution flag sequence is that we've got everybody basically back on the same age of tire. But now, so I don't really think it's worked out for Cameron Hearn all that well now, Connor, because while he's still leading this race and still the fastest car out there, he has the same quality tires as everyone else, but he has one less set, which obviously is not going to pan out well for him if we get some more cautions late race.
Especially if he has to go against Thomas Bresci on a newer set of tires, with an extra set of tires. He's going to really have to hope that this becomes some sort of wreck fest after he takes his final set, because if you get a long run and then a yellow at the very end and you don't have any tires to take, you're going to be in trouble.
Thomas Bresci having a really solid race. Again, we've mentioned how his season has started disastrously, down in 24th in the points. Just needs some luck, something he and his teammate Casey Shue have obviously not had a whole lot of this season. Here's Massey and Roberts almost dooring each other through turns 1 and 2.
Two drivers who have had a very tough day already. Massey got caught up in that wreck with the 60 and the 8 there. He's trying to make his way back up. I believe he's up to 16th now. Will Roberts continuing to fall. Riley Thompson continuing to try to get back up, at least get to the front. He hasn't even been up at the front on this. So you can't say he's trying to get back up there. Look at Will Roberts sailing into turn number 1 on the top lane, but just can't make it stick.
Michael Stroll also trying to recover after spending some time on pit lane to fix that car. Trying to preserve points as well. His nemesis in the points, Shane Terry, all the way up in 5th spot, so some work to do to get there. Meanwhile, behind Braxton DeWeese for 2nd, it's heating up. Bresci's caught him.
Bresci's trying to get that position away. Brian Chandler's trying to defend one of his positions away, trying to defend a 12th position for Brendan Queen, who's still trying to get back up to the front. after the track position got completely lost out of all that. Here comes Bresci. He's going to be under attack from Alan Elwood now as DeWeese gets away a little bit as those two get side by side.
Super bumpy in turn 4 as well, and down in 1 and 2 for that matter, Connor. So kind of managing those bumps and how the car will kind of get launched or catch those things is pretty important. Here comes Shane Terrian up the inside, pushing Bresci back to 5th as they exit turn 2. Almost a touch down the backstretch.
Yeah, that was close. I don't think the 83 really wanted to go for that spot, but the outside so bumpy on the entrance of 1 that Bresci lost all his momentum, and the 83 found himself in a hole he didn't really want to be in.
Ryan Chambliss back in 12th. Here's Brendan Queen moving his way back forward after leading some laps earlier in the night. Led 10 laps after staying out on that early caution, but the strategy has not played out for him the way that he expected. And while he had pace early in the going, he has not had enough to catch back up to the front of this field. Finney DeCoon is leading this fight. Passing him would give 6th spot, so Queen still has the opportunity to move back forward, but some cars did pass before he can get it done.
Yeah, he has some work to do there. Like you said, Finian leading that line. You can see those top 5 are getting away. You got Cameron Hurdy himself. He's got about an 8/10 of a second lead over Braxton. So the leads Elwood, Terrian, and Bresci in the top 5, and then he, like you said, Finian leading 6th on back, but he missed the bottom lane. Here comes Hayden Pistorius, who he was at the back for a long period of this race. He's finally trying to fight for maybe a top 5.
Yeah, Hayden Pistorius started 16th, kind of mid-pack tonight in that Mountain Dew number 9. New livery on board since last week at Auto Club. He's through, takes 6th spot away from the 94 of DeCuna. And Chad Simpson is also going to bring the fight to that 94. He'll have a look. Nope, we'll stay in line for turn 3. Rest of the field sort of getting sorted out for the first time in a long time, except for second place. Here comes Elwood on Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, Finian's still struggling to hit the bottom in pretty much all of these corners. You're going to have another battle with him trying to fend off Chad Simpson. Simpson gets to the bottom. Brian Chambliss just sent it to the bottom of Matthew Rodriguez, so that line was looking pretty single file, and everyone's trying to get for every position they can get.
Stafford will take 8th place away from DeCuna, so DeCuna goes from 6th to 9th. In just a handful of corners, Davey Hendricks continues his charge. To the bottom he goes in that M&M's Toyota Supra.
Yeah, Finian's really starting to struggle. Rodriguez is going to get under him for that 9th position here. Chambliss just trying to follow here. As that 94, he's going to have no hole to get back in. He's going to go all the way to the back of this one.
Oh, 0-3 slips up at the exit of turn 4. I think Finian's just going to back out of this now. Again, one of the other topics I thought we would see.
Boy.
Whoa, that was a touch.
Yeah, Queen kind of put a block on Brad Slaughter there, and Finian was almost an innocent bystander of all that. He's just going to let them all go before they all wreck each other.
Yeah, again, another thing I thought would play in tonight was maybe potentially multi-groove racing. We have seen none of that tonight, which is shocking because typically the Cup car is worse. We've seen it race, I would probably argue, better here in terms of being able to make passes in a different part of the racetrack, but tonight just been bottom groove pretty much all night.
Bresci, who's going to go back by the 83 Shane Terrian for that 4th position. You saw the same thing, I think, with DeWeese and Rodriguez for the 2nd position earlier. You get past, and then you just pass him right back.
Davey Hendricks continues to move forward. Really liking the look of this 54 car tonight. He's got that thing tacked up and going. Matthew Rodriguez in the 57. Haven't talked a whole lot about him. Runs 12th. Whoa, Chad Simpson doing a crossover here on the 34 car, who's a lap down. Going back to the 57 of Rodriguez. Looking at his season, well, he's only run 1 race so far. That was back at Auto Club, finishing 30th, but tonight really showing where I believe he is paced to be.
I think he was running top 5 earlier in this one, but he got caught up in the end with the 60 and the 8 as he squeezes his way to the bottom of Davey Hendricks to get back closer up into the top 10. This is for 9th, but he was running really well earlier in this race. He's got a lot of damage to deal with now, but he's doing a good job of dealing with it, putting that 54 up the groove a little bit.
Yeah, Hendricks put a lot of trust in Rodriguez, and I think he'd probably be able to trust each other after that move. Look at the 25, sails it down the inside into turn 1. Yes, please, and he will go through. Braxton DeWeese and Thomas Bresci fighting for 3rd. And I think we'll have to give the spot to the 24 here. Here he goes.
Yeah, trying to do something on that top lane, but he can't do anything about it. Bresci's going to get cleared. The 83's trying to follow him. He's going to keep his nose down there. DeWeese is going to cut him off into turn 1 and at least keep the 4th position. As 2nd place, Elwood's starting to get away from all 3 of these guys, but the 15's getting away from everyone.
48 laps to go next time by, working lap number 100 of the Carolina 150. Brian Chambliss moving forward now. Here comes Brendan Queen in the background. moving by Davey Hendricks. No, not quite. Davey will move over to driver's left. As 57 gets put out of line, that's going to get tight out of turn 4, almost 3 wide.
Wow.
They think better of it, Connor.
They were all single file for a while there. Then they try going 3 wide out of a corner and in a corner, not even just down a front stretch or a back stretch. That could have been bad. 54 still going to poke his nose to get back by the 57. Can't do it. Pushes tight, almost into the outside wall. And here comes a big block from Queen to Brad Slaughter Jr.
And Nick Massey watching it all from behind, hoping he'll get an opportunity to pass somebody here, and that somebody will be Davey Hendricks. Very cyclical what we're seeing right now. Drivers making up a couple spots and then losing 5 or 6 of them at one go. We saw that happen with Takuna earlier. In front of him, here's Simpson being passed by the 61 of Stafford for 6th.
You can defend one driver using that top line, but if you get a full line of drivers behind you on that bottom line lined up and not letting you in, you're pretty much toast. You're going from 5th to 20th. That's what we saw with 94.
And it's not a way I've seen Rockingham race before. I've never seen this track race like this. And again, I wasn't around last season. It was Finney Takuna and David Mott that broadcasted this race. So I didn't get to see how it raced last season. But is it looking similar to what we saw, Connor, or has it changed since then?
To be honest, it is. I'd say it's definitely somewhat similar. I was up at the front for a lot of the time. Getting by lap traffic was tricky in itself, but you really didn't see a lot of passes being made on that outside line. That outside line is bumpy if you hit it in the wrong way. So if you're up there and you're stuck in those bumps, you really can't do anything.
Oh, Chambliss going to race the 61 off into turn 1. They're going to run each other way up the racetrack. That's going to get a little bit elbowy here. I think these two might be not thrilled with each other after that.
This is all 6th position. Those top 5 drivers are completely gone. They're out of turn 4 right now as these guys are going into turn 3 now for 6th.
I think Chambliss will have this spot. He has been aggressive on this run. Stafford wants it back, but doesn't have the run to do anything with it.
Just how far those top 5 got away, and pretty much everyone is stuck in a line. I wouldn't say anyone's holding anyone up. Chambliss isn't holding anyone up in this line. It's just so stacked up. This is 6th place all the way back to the 18th position with Riley Thompson all the way back there. It's crazy to see them all stacked up like this. They haven't wrecked yet, but they're brewing something.
We'll see which driver gets knocked out of the chain here in a moment. Rodriguez putting pressure on Pistorius behind them. How about side by side with Brad Slaughter and Chad Simpson? Remember, a couple laps ago, they almost had a run-in. Through goes the 81. Whoa, big slide by Queen at the exit of turn 2. Massey drops to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to have a look into turn 3.
54 almost got turned around there because they were all checking up. That was Finney who almost got into the back of him. They were able to save it. If someone gets loose like that, it's that stack-up situation that could really cause something big to happen.
There's a wild save there by the 03. He's still being very busy right now.
He's
Takuna.
getting hit.
Oh, there they go. Up the racetrack. Last week's winner going to spin in turn 2. Caution.
The 03 is going to come to a stop. We don't think anyone's going to hit him. Nick Massey was just kind of tired of waiting for him to get out of the way.
5th caution of the night. And Brendan Queen waiting for the opportunity to pull off the racetrack here, and going to go a lap down in the process. From 0 to 0 this week for Brendan Queen. All got back on an earlier strategy, just gets run into here. And that was Massey just run out of patience, I think.
They kind of got stacked up a little bit by Chad Simpson. You see how close Queen was to the back of the 4th, too. I don't think he had anywhere to go. We saw stacking up happen over and over again. They just couldn't avoid it this time.
Slightest,
not too close.
Yeah, slightest touch there, and I don't think the 20 was expecting him to slow down in the same lane. Slow, lazy spin for the 03, but had a little bit of help.
Definitely got the rear clip taken completely off that thing. Massey's probably got in his front grill somewhere. He hit him once, tried to let him gather it up, but got into him almost 3 times there. Queen did a good job not hitting the outside wall there. Really only rear end damage. Shouldn't hurt him too much. Now we come to the problem with tire strategy. You got drivers with only 1 set left. Some drivers have 2 sets left. You use it now.
Yeah, this is this is when things get tricky. Again, we've got about 40 laps to go. Do you take tires? Do you not? We've got a couple drivers that have stayed out, Stroll and Roberts. Stroll is out there. He's pit 3 times. Did he take tires all 3 times? Because he's stuck to the end if he already did. Will Roberts pit twice? He's going to stay out. But Cameron Hearn is done. He can no longer take tires, Connor, so he has made his bed, and now he's going to have to lay in it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because you still got about 30, almost close to 40 laps left when we go start over again. And if he gets a yellow at the wrong time, say we go about 15 laps, 20 laps, and we get another yellow, he's going to be in a tough spot, and it could blow the whole race completely wide open.
Behind him, it'll be Alan Elwood and Thomas Bressie. will both only pit twice, and they still have a set of tires remaining in the pit. So I like where Elwood and Bressie are. Braxton DeWeese is done taking tires for the day. Shane Terrian, Brian Chambliss still have one set left in the pits. Bronson Stafford is done taking tires for the day. Hayden Pistorius has one more set remaining in the pits. So a mixed bag for sure. And I don't know how this is going to work out. Again, this isn't going to matter so much if it goes green to the end, but we've seen by now, I don't think we can guarantee that it does go green to the end.
Yeah, the racing was already crazy and one stacked up line, and you got guys on this restart that were already impatient in that stacked up line behind the 25 of Chambliss and others. You're going to see a lot more aggressive moves being made. That bumper to Massey to the bumper of the 03 of Queen, that's probably just the beginning of it. We might see things get even more aggressive.
Late afternoon here at Rockingham Speedway. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn from SimTV. We've got off week next Tuesday, but make sure you join us again for the Charlotte Roval, our first lefts and rights in 2 weeks' time. Make sure you join us tomorrow night on the Winding Road YouTube channel for the Spec MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge. Thursday night, right back here on SimTV for Scars, Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo, as well as Prototype Challenge from Daytona. And then it'll be Friday off. Saturday we'll also be off. We'll make our return on Sunday with the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series, the Alabama Grand Prix, with the Dallara IR18 IndyCar, our first road race for that series. Then Monday off. Tuesday we'll be back here. No, we won't. We'll have a week off, Connor.
Okay. Let me make sure my calendar is correct.
Yes, your calendar should be right as long as it doesn't have anything next week.
Rose right up the top. Coca-Cola of Kokomo. I can never do that.
Coca-Cola of Kokomo, yes.
Perfect marketing. Perfect.
All right, you know they got some cinnamon Coke? That stuff's good. Big
I
fan.
haven't had it in a while. I'm missing it, man. I need to find it.
I think they got it at Walmart, or if you're local to a Wegmans. Wegmans is the place to go for everything. So.
Oh, look, we're green. Oh, how about that?
Green flag back in the air. Not a good start for Will Roberts on those older tires. Michael Stroll also on older tires. We'll see how long he can hang on to it.
Roberts isn't going to hang on at all. Neither is Stroll. 15 is going to be all over his back bumper out of turn number 2. He's going to easily get the lead here, and they're going to almost back out of turn 2.
3 wide, almost 4 wide for a moment. Hearn easily goes through to the race lead. It's a hornet's nest behind him, though. Roberts all the way up in the fence. Double wide. I don't understand why Will Roberts would have done that in particular.
All right, here, Elwood's going for the race lead all of a sudden. Big run off of turn 4. We might have a new leader here.
And we do move the 5 car to the race lead. Great power move there, but can he hold off Cameron Hearn?
Tough to do. The 15's got to run back on him, not going to look into turn 3. All of a sudden, I look up, and the 5's got a huge run out of turn 4, and he might finally lead the lap in this one.
Hasn't led one. Oh, he slipped. He will now lead his lap, and Hearn is back to the bottom.
Hearn's not going to be able to get there. The 5, let's see how hard he's going to drive this car to stay in the lead. That 15's been fast all race long. There hasn't been a long run that's happened where the 15 hasn't pulled away to a big lead. We'll see if the 5 can at least keep him at bay.
99 laps this race, Cameron Hearn has led. Behind them, the driver that took the green flag on the front was the 8 car Michael Stroll. Way back there in the field. 3 pit stops tonight. He is done taking tires and drops to 18th place. Cameron Hearn, though, not done fighting Alan Elwood just yet.
He's trying to get up to those 2, but he just doesn't exactly have the speed, or at least he's just not fast. He's exactly as fast as Cameron Hearn.
And I don't think Thomas Bressie is going to have the pace to run either of these 2 drivers down. What I think Thomas Bressie wins this race is if we get another caution flag. Now, he'll be on equal footing. I think he might be better than the 5 car, but he's not better than the 15. But put the 15 off strategy, and now I think you got the 24 car as your race winner. So we'll see how this pans out. But Hearn putting pressure on Elwood.
One thing to look out for if these 2 get into it, with how close they're racing right now. Elwood trying to defend for his life right now. Bressie could just stay behind, and if they get into it, he can avoid it. He's in the catbird seat.
It's single filed out behind. Still a battle for the top spot here at the Rock. Hearn all over the back of that 5 car of Elwood, waiting for a mistake. We haven't seen the 15 have the longevity that other drivers have had. He's been rock solid on the restarts, but eventually drops off the pace. So he might feel like he needs to get this pass done and then be able to defend from out front.
A wreck out of turn number 2 there. Michael Stroll, that was actually in the turn number 1. Michael Stroll almost completely got into John Van Varellis, but they kept it straight. They kept it green. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead still heating up. Elwood's trying everything he can to keep that 15 from taking a look at the bottom.
Oh, into turn 3. Had a look.
Oh, boy.
Not yet there, though. He's making sure Elwood feels the pressure, though.
can't make any sort of mistake. You can't even put a wheel out of place here, else you're gonna get passed. Kind of the same thing that Brandon Bowers had to do when it was the 77 of Cabot closing him in. If you stay on that yellow line, you're gonna be hard to pass.
Bit of a breather for now for Elwood, but Hearn is so much better through 3 and 4. Watch him close right here in turn 4 specifically. 3 car lengths down to basically half. Not the pace, but the track position is the hard part, and Hearn had the benefit of having it for almost the entire race. And when he wasn't out front, Connor, he had much better tires than everybody else. Now he's on equal footing and now behind the race lead.
Yeah, we haven't really seen him have to make a big pass for the lead. The only pass he had to make for the lead was when he was on newer tires compared to the not the 0-3, whoever was the leader at that point. He zoomed by them so fast we didn't even see who he passed for the lead, but he did have a big tire advantage, and now he's on even tires with everyone else, and he's gonna have to really work hard for this one, and he's only got about 28 laps to do it.
Only about 10 minutes worth of time, too. That's the important one. These laps only take 23 seconds to complete. Here's Stroll and Van Varellis back side by side again. This time Van Varellis will complete that pass. There's the 23 laps down to the race leader.
We're just trying to ride it out and salvage anything out of this. Elwood just not trying to salvage anything. He's trying to salvage a race win here. He's keeping a decent gap to the 15th of Cameron Hearn. Could be Hearn just trying to rest the tires for another run up at him, or it could be Elwood just giving it all he's got, trying to get away.
Well, I'm watching the 24 car of Thomas Bressi because he was the quickest of the front 3 the last time by. So he is closing this gap, and if Bressi can get up there, I'm sure he could battle for the win. Also, last year's champion, Shane Terrian, lurking in 4th.
These 4 pretty much pulled away from the rest of the pack. Elwood, Hearn, Bressi, Terrian in that order. Braxton DeWeese, he was up in the top 3 for a lot, but he slipped back to 5th on that restart. Doesn't seem like he can hang with these guys right now. Just see this time by who the fastest is, and it looks like that time it was the leader of Elwood.
Lap traffic up ahead, Connor. Could that be a factor at the end of this thing?
Definitely could if they catch even heavier lap traffic. I think Robert Kenny will just get out of the way if I had to assume. Brendan Queen, I think he'll get out of the way. He took the wave round last time. He doesn't even have fresh tires after a spin. These 2 might get out of the way. If they catch up the faster drivers like maybe Sam Crow, Case Lacatus, guys way up the road, maybe we'll have an issue. But a lot of these guys should just get out of the way.
Sun setting here. The track continues to cool off. Started at 91 degrees, down to 88 now. It stayed there. There's the 34, Robert Kenny. Lots of issues here tonight. The 15's going to juke out to the left last moment. And he's right back on the rear tailpipes of that 5 car, keeping him on his toes tonight.
The edge didn't really help Elwood out at all. The 15's going to try to get a run out of turn 2. Can't really get that big of a run. Terrian's starting to slip off of these 3 a little bit. About 2/10 slower than each of the top 3 as Elwood slips off the bottom a little bit. 0-3's not giving him the bottom. It's really going to hold up Hearn.
They touch.
Into him.
Oh,
he's gonna spin.
That was so close to almost hitting the barrels.
Rusty's gonna go for 2nd here. That really hurt Hearn. He's gonna lose his track position. Back to 3rd now. All over the bumper of Bressi, trying to get back by him, hitting him up the track.
Oh, I think he's angry right now. He is definitely upset with the 0-3 off into turn 3 now. On the underside of Bressi, he feels like this race is being wrenched away from him in the final moments. He is not going to let that slide. Side by side for 2nd as Elwood tries to run away.
I don't know if Hearn has anything to really fight with. Look at the damage on that front clip. He didn't expect the 0-3 to stay on the bottom, and honestly, neither did I. And Bressi's fighting on that top lane, pinching him to that yellow line, pinching him to the apron almost, as that the 0-3 to 5 is starting to really get a big gap here.
Hearn is through into 2nd place again. Bressi not going to let it go that easily, though. He's going to go to the top side here. We haven't seen this line work, but he's going to try it. Now he's going to juke to the left for the bottom.
And he's got it, too. Going to be able to get back under him here. He's going to dive down there, almost hit the apron. Can Hearn pinch him enough to get a run off of 2 to clear? I don't think he can. They're going to be dead even.
Oh, he's going to lift.
And he's going to clear him again.
Hearn had to lift, and that will let Bressi go through, and they're going to touch.
Going to hit him. You could tell that guy, he is not happy with how this race is playing out at the very end here. I think this is going to be about 18 laps to go, and Cameron Hearn seeing it slip away.
Elwood out front by 1.4 seconds. Coming to 18 laps to go. Some lap traffic to deal with, but Cameron Hearn's chances to win this race have essentially gone out the window because a caution flag would even seal that fate more, Connor.
Yeah, he's put in a terrible situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to talk to the 0-3 after this one. I honestly didn't expect him to keep the bottom there, but he was on the lead lap trying to fight for his position.
Yeah,
so
can't blame him. He didn't do anything wrong. He actually did try to pull out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, he did hold his line. It's not like he blocked or anyone. He just stayed on the bottom. And, you know, the 5, Elwood, got to the top, got around him. The 0-3, not the 0-3, the 15 of Hearn tried to get a run on the bottom, and the 0-3 stayed there. And he just ran into him. Can't really fault the 0-3 for that. He just held his line.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen for Hearn tonight. Elwood, though, trying to run away because Thomas Bresci is on the same strategy and running basically identical pace. Bresci was only 7 thousandths slower last time by, so he's certainly got plenty of time to get throttled back up and go catch that 5 car, especially with the lap traffic that is going to get heavier as this night goes on.
This is kind of a most spread out we've seen the top 5 get. Bresci got a terrible run off of turn number 4. That's going to allow Hearn to get back to his rear bumper, and I expect he'll probably try to use the bumper again if he gets to the back bumper, which he will. He might even get under him into turn number 3. Big run.
If he can pass him the fairway, I don't think he'll use it, but he might shimmy him up the racetrack just a little bit off.
And of course, going to get held up by lap traffic. Kind of has to lift a little bit 3 wide for a moment. He's going to hang on the right rear quarter panel, and I think the 15's got it in the turn number 1 here. I can't get that number right. I apologize.
See if Bresci can cross over. I don't think he's got the grip to do it, at least not yet. 2 seconds back from Elwood, though. Neither of them are going to catch the leader at this pace.
A lot of help. I mean, Hearn obviously needs a lot of help. The 24 just needs a yellow, and he's right back in it. That car's pushing tight, especially at a turn 4. Can't stay right with a bumper of Cameron Hearn. Just trying to salvage whatever he can here as the battle for 4th starting to brew up. Shane Terrian under attack from, I believe that's Braxton DeWeese.
It is Braxton DeWeese in that number 1 car. Terrian bounces off the fence. DeWeese having a really good night. I mentioned earlier that he has not had a spectacular start to the season, and this would be a step in the right direction, running 5th right now after starting this race back in 7th spot. And Terrian going a bit defensive, trying to use the 3 car as a pick. Ryan Chambliss only half a second back.
And hold the bottom as well. DeWeese looks better in the center, but the 83 is actually going to get a decent run out of the corner as we see that's Michael Stroll getting lapped. He was the leader on the restart. He's already been lapped right behind Elwood there. As we're starting to see a few of these guys start to stack up. Bresci and Hearn seem clear, and the battle for 4th is starting to heat up a little bit. Got 3 drivers who have a chance at it.
And for 14th as well, Davey Hendricks in the 54, Tyler Hensley in the 44. Speaking of Finian DeCuna, we haven't mentioned him in a while. He's back up in 11th. Needs one more spot to maintain his perfect streak at top 10 so far, and he might get one with Bronson Stafford lifting here at the exit of 2. Here he goes.
A big run there. Nothing the 61 can do except for try to pinch as hard as he can. And at turn number 3, that's what he's going to try to do. Finian can't hold that yellow line. And that 61, we'll see if he gets that run. As we got a spinner out of turn number 4. Nope, he saved it. That was Tyler Hensley almost spinning as Finian and Stafford stay side by side.
Into turn 1, DeCuna's going to run the 61 up the racetrack, and I think now, if you were making friends earlier, it's time to stop, and DeCuna's through into 10th, and Stafford's going to cross it back over. Great battle here for P10.
Great crossover move. You can't execute it much better than that at a track this sort of narrow. I wouldn't say it's too narrow, but it feels narrow with how the groove is pretty much narrowed out. As Finian's going to get a decent run out of 4. Once again, they're going to be dead even, but reverse this time.
I'd rather be on the bottom than the top side. I think DeCuna will find that out real quick here in 1 and 2. If he can keep his foot in it, he should be, oh, not quite. He's going to have to lift, and he might lose a spot here to Simpson.
There we go. I think that's Nick Massey as well. Chad Simpson's going to get under him, and here comes Nick Massey. He's going to take another spot away. And that battle for 2nd has still been heating up. Thomas Bresci got back to the rear bumper of Cameron Hearn.
Yeah, still negotiating some traffic. Less than 10 laps to go for Alan Elwood. Out front, who's had a pretty good start to this season. Elwood, right now, looking at the points, will come into the night. Maybe he hasn't had much of a start to the season. No, he was running well at both Daytona and Auto Club, but didn't finish there. 25th at Daytona, 32nd at Auto Club. This would be a great step in the right direction for him. And especially tonight, given that he started up inside the top 5, this would make sense to go to victory lane in a race where he qualified so well. But Bresci keeping that pressure on Hearn, but they are still losing time to that race leader.
Just a battle for 2nd at this point, and Hearn's actually going to give the bottom to Bresci there, let him pretty much go by here. We'll see if he crosses him up. I don't think he can. He's just going to sort of look like he let the 24 by there maybe.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese is coming, so I don't think they could mess around too much longer. Back to Brad Slaughter Jr. He's got Hayden Pistorius behind him, then Stafford, Simpson, and there's Nick Massey going up the inside. Late move there.
He was looking. I don't think the 42 expected him to go for it, but he definitely got that position away. He's up to 11th now. All the damage on that 20. It's a really big recovery to be able to get almost close into the top 10 here.
Alan Elwood's number 5 car rolling through turns 3 and 4, coming to 5 laps to go. If we were to get a caution at this point, he would still probably feel pretty comfortable, given that the best driver of the night is out of tire.
Yeah, definitely one in the best position. Really, the only person he has to worry about if a yellow comes out is probably the 24 of Bresci, so he's kind of just got to relax a little bit here and just kind of ride it out. Whatever happens, happens.
Well, think about the way this race progressed, Connor. The 15 car is up against a fence right now. He can't take more tires if we were to get a late race caution. But think about this race, had he been able to maintain that track position on the restart, he might have won this race. So all things considered, all those strategies ended up equaling out. It was just riskier to take the tires earlier. I think taking tires might have worked had Cameron been more aggressive in defending after that restart, but combine the lack of defense with a little bit of overdriving, maybe fighting Thomas, and he just does not have the pace to run this leader back down.
That's what really did him in was getting that front end damage running into the back of the lap car. And obviously, like you said, that last restart, he lost the lead himself. I really didn't see where that 5 machine got the run from, but it was an incredibly good run. He was able to get to the bottom, kind of caught Hearn by surprise there. 50 just couldn't get back by, and he tried everything he could but hitting him. And after the 0-3 got in his way, he started hitting everyone.
Oh, no, there's trouble. There goes a 42 car, and there will be a caution. No, we're going to stay green.
Yeah, off track.
Oh.
Robert threw a yellow earlier. I don't think he's going to throw one here. We're going to stay green. That could have been the yellow there, but Chad Simpson is going to kind of get bit there. He's going to stay green. He's going to have to get it back going.
Yeah, he came off the wall across the nose of the 94 there. I thought at first maybe the 94 drifted up, but looking from top down as we get coming to white flag next time by, he comes off the fence and gets turned across the nose of the 94. So now no fault of Dacuna's. Out front, Alan Elwood takes the white flag. Early season start was not a good one. 25th at Daytona. 32nd at Auto Club Speedway, not the way that he wanted to start, but it will be race number 3 of the season that Alan Elwood will take this number 5 to victory lane. It was not a dominant night, but it was a victorious one. Alan Elwood wins at Rockingham. Thomas Bresci fights home for 2nd place, a great recovery for his season as well. Braxton DeWeese comes home in 4th after, no, actually, he will come home 3rd. Cameron Hearn lost a position in the final lap and will come home in 4th, and Shane Terrian wraps up the rest of the top 5. So DeWeese jumps onto the podium. Then Chambliss, Rodriguez, Slaughter, Pistorius, Stafford over Massey by 83 thousandths of a second. What did that look like? How about this as out of turn 4?
You're going by Kenny here at 61. Just barely gets off the bottom. Massey tried to get to him, just didn't have enough.
Vinny Dacuna back in 12th. Davey Hendricks, then Riley Thompson, Danny Ware, Tyler Hensley. So Alan Elwood celebrating his first win of the season, his first win in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series here at Rockingham. Burning it down, he'll drive it into the concrete. Congratulations to Alan Elwood for his first victory of the season. Let's have a look here at our race results here at Rockingham. Out front tonight, Elwood, Bresci, DeWeese, Hearn, and Terry in your top 5, Connor. Any surprises up here that you weren't expecting?
It was a really good job by Chambliss to stay up there. He's good to getting track position at the very end. Hayden Pistorius was mid-pack a lot of that race. He recorded for 9th. Brad Slaughter Jr., Matthew Rodriguez, they had a good amount of damage. They got top 10s. Bronson Stafford did recovery for him as well.
Hayden Pistorius down in 9th place. Good finish for him. Bronson Stafford in 10th. Move on now to our next page. Talk about Vinny Dacuna. Brings home a 12th after the contact with Chad Simpson there in the closing moments. Riley Thompson, Danny Ware in the 19. Comes home in 15th, and now we'll probably move on to some of the more disappointing runs for some of the drivers here tonight. Michael Stroll down at 22nd. He will almost certainly lose possession of 2nd place in the points. Robert Kenny in 26th. Brendan Queen, I thought he was going to be 2 for 2, but ends up 28th after tonight's race. Joseph Tebbin struggling on those restarts, causing a couple stack-ups, not the direction he wanted to go. Well, that was certainly a good one here in the Carolina 150. Stick around in just a moment to hear from our race winners and more. And we'll first talk to Thomas Bressi, who came home in second in the final. Oh, we got Alan Elwood instead. Hey, Alan, congratulations. Victory here at Rockingham. Third race of the season for you after what started as not so great of a season at Daytona and Auto Club. Turned it around, winner for the first time. Take us through it.
Oh man, you would have heard me praying to the racing gods the last 5 laps probably about 15 times, saying, "Just get me to the white flag," because I know how Rockingham is so unpredictable. But you know, at the end of the day, it just came down to that short run, and we kind of ran into some lap traffic that ultimately played into my favor. But it was going to be a hell of a finish had it not been for that. And you know, like I said, I just wanted to get to the white flag, and that was the goal, and just not make any mistakes on that lap.
Well, we look at this season always from a top-down perspective of you've got, you know, X amount of races, and victory certainly gets you the most points, but we've seen seasons in the past year be won on consistency and point strategy. What has it been for you so far? Obviously, you've been racing a lot better than you've been finishing, so is it about getting wins at this point or getting some consistency in?
My goal tonight was a top 5. Just the competition out here, to even get a top 10 feels good, and you know, to not make mistakes. There's guys out here that just don't mess up, you know, unless they get caught in somebody else's mess. So to get a top 10 at least is a good starting point with where I fell in the points. But I mean, this is, you know, what more could you ask for? Leading some laps and getting a win and climbing yourself back up into near that top 10 in points is going to feel really good.
Well, we've got a week off, then we head to the road course, the Charlotte Roval in a few weeks. Your thoughts on that? How are you as a road racer, and do you think you might be able to get another victory at that racetrack in a few weeks?
On the team, I'd say Cameron's probably our strongest road racer. I'm not too bad myself, but in recent years, I'm not as quick as I used to be. I did a lot more road racing there a few years back, but you know, a top 5 again, I think is going to be my goal. Just keep the dang thing on the track, not make stupid mistakes, and you'll get a top 5, top 10 for sure. I know Thomas Bressi, from what I've seen in previous seasons, he's really strong on the road courses. Riley Thompson, I know there's a couple guys out here that are really strong, so you know, you're gonna have to bring your A game to even get a top 5. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I like the road races, and it's a change of pace from, you know, the normal stuff. And even tonight was a nice change of pace. Don't get to race Rockingham too often, so I'm glad they put it on the schedule for obvious reasons.
Well, keep the dang thing on the racetrack. Keep the dang thing in victory lane. First win of the season for Alan Elwood. Alan, thanks for talking. Good luck to you in 2 weeks at Charlotte.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on now to our next finisher, which we were going to talk to Thomas Bressi earlier, and now we will have him to chat with. Hey, Thomas, second place tonight. We talked to you earlier about the strategy and how chaotic it was getting. Didn't need to use any of that fancy strategy. Ended up just out-racing Cameron Hearn for a second. Take us through those last couple restarts in that run to the checkers. Yeah,
that was a blast. Hats off to him for a good, clean battle. That's the most fun I've had in a while, and I normally hate Rockingham anyway, so just I don't know. If you had told me I was even going to be in the top 5, top 10 going into the night, I probably wouldn't have believed you because I hate this place that much. But your boy has figured out how to save tires, so people are going to be in trouble this year.
Well, we were talking about the Roval coming up in a couple weeks. Obviously, the consistency and the luck has not been there just yet for you this season, but a second place is putting you right in prime position to carry that momentum into the Charlotte Roval. Is that a race that you expect to win, or is that one that you're just hoping to bring it home clean?
I think you know what the expectation is there, especially after a couple seasons ago, what could have been and should have been there. But yeah, I've got some plans to debut a new paint scheme at the Roval, and hopefully we debut it well. But yeah, it's just final. I'm happy something went right so far this year. Got the sim crashed with 5 to go at Daytona. Got wrecked by a lap car last week for no reason, and then quite a turnaround for tonight. So fingers crossed, things go well at the Roval.
All right, Thomas Bressi, second place. Good luck to you out there, Thomas. We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Braxton DeWeese came home in third place tonight in that number 1 car. That's the Zimmerman Concrete Camaro. P3 passing Cameron Hearn, the driver that dominated the race in the closing moments. Braxton, congratulations. Take us through your view of all the chaos and strategy that happened tonight and your run to get inside the top 5.
Yeah, it was a pretty eventful race. Fun race and all. Rockingham's a pretty fun race just because of how bumpy it is and how much driver input you need to put into it. But I was really worried on our strategy because there at the end, that last pit stop, last caution there. We came in, put 4 tires on it. That was our last set, so we were banking on it going to the green because the previous 2 times, the previous 2 first stops of the race, we came in, used in sets up. But ultimately, it put us up out to the front, got us some good track position. All in all, really happy. Glad something went my way this time.
Well, a really strong night tonight. Braxton, good luck to you in a couple weeks at the Charlotte Roval. That's a challenging one. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to thank all my family and friends and the fans that join in. I want to thank Zimmerman Concrete for jumping on board. I want to thank Bennett's Bubble Scott Martin at Gentleman Auto Group, Brown's Pizza, NASCAR Technical Institute, Domination Intimidation Racing, Fuel for making this league go great, and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job.
All right, thanks, Braxton. We'll see you in a couple weeks at Charlotte. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We do have Cameron Hearn here to chat. Hey, Cameron, it's Kyle from the SimTV booth. You got a copy? Maybe we don't have Cameron Hearn. We were going to give it a try, Connor, trying to see if we could get a hold of him. Could not in the closing moments. Got a feel for him, though. That was a tough situation for sure. But, Connor, your final thoughts on Rockingham. It was a fun one tonight. We have a week off and a week to dissect. There's a lot of angry people down in the Discord right now, so maybe a week off to cool off isn't a terrible idea. Whoop, can't hear you, Connor. Maybe we'll just close this out with, again, we've got the Charlotte Roval happening here in a couple weeks. We'll have next Tuesday off. We'll let everyone cool off. We'll see you in Charlotte, the hometown for NASCAR, in a couple weeks' time. We'll see us again tomorrow. Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel for the Spec MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge, and right back here on Thursday night for SCAR's Prototype Challenge and Super Trofeo. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time here on SimTV.